What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MMTLP and FINRA saga.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
And for today's video, guys, I will show you an update in regards to the most recent amicus brief that was filed in support of SEC versus Burda lawsuit. On top of that, guys, I will show you quite interesting details about the part 3 of George Paliker's statements about the problems of OTC market, and I have to admit that he didn't post only a critics of this market, but he also give some tips about solutions, how we can solve it, and what will be the outcome of this case. On top of that, guys, I will show you that some of MMTLP community members might also be involved in other ticker symbols that are, let's say, not so bright and doesn't have the real value that a lot of people might think that they have. And I have to admit that this might expose some of MMTLP community members, but everything I will show you within just several minutes. So, and before we dive deep into all of this, guys, please hit the like button for YouTube algorithm and drop me a line in the comment section if you think my videos are valuable for you. So, guys, first of all, let's start with this couple of tweets. You know that, and I covered it in my yesterday's video, we have an amicus brief that was filed in support of the case against John Burda et al. And let me show you this summary of this document. It was made by Costas, and Costas wrote, "This document is an amicus brief submitted by Kevin W. Berthold in a case involving the Securities and Exchange Commission against John Burda and Georgios Palikros. The brief criticizes the SEC and its role in what the author terms a systemic racket involving fraudulent activities in the financial markets. Here is the summary. Key points of the amicus brief. 1. Allegations of fraudulent practices. The brief accuses the SEC and other regulatory bodies of enabling fraudulent practices like the issuance of counterfeit securities, shares exceeding the totals issued by companies. It highlights systemic issues in market plumbing, such as short selling, share borrowing, and failure to deliver shares, which create counterfeit shares. 2. Impact of the alleged fraud. The author claims these fraudulent practices harm companies, stakeholders, and the broader economy by manipulating share prices and sabotaging companies through counterfeit shares. He argues that these actions result in theft, fraud, and market manipulation, undermining the integrity of capital markets. 3. Criticism of the SEC and FINRA. The SEC is described as failing to fulfill its mission of protecting investors, maintaining fair markets, and facilitating capital formation. Instead, it allegedly enables fraud and corruption. FINRA is accused of aiding counterfeiters by failing to enforce debt settlement and transparency. 4. MMTLP case. The brief references MMTLP case alleging that regulatory bodies allowed the creation of trading of counterfeit shares, leading to shareholder losses. It criticized the SEC for targeting CEOs and shareholders who sought to address these issues while ignoring the underlying fraud by counterfeiters. 5. Call for accountability. The author emphasizes the need for transparency and accountability in the financial markets, particularly regarding the volume of counterfeit shares and unresolved liabilities. He calls for better regulatory controls to prevent fraud and protect stakeholders. 6. Author's perspective. Kevin Berthold identifies himself as a friend of the court and emphasizes his commitment to justice and market integrity. He has no financial interest in the case, but aims to highlight systemic issues in financial regulation and their broader implications. This brief argues that the SEC and other regulatory bodies are complicit in a fraudulent system that undermines the integrity of capital markets, with significant consequences for companies, stakeholders, and society. It focuses on the need for reform, transparency, and accountability to address these systemic issues. So, guys, I have to admit that it is quite interesting fact that Kevin Berthold is a completely independent person and he doesn't have any financial interest in case, but his main goal is to solve the bigger problems, the bigger issue of US stock market. And in my opinion, it is a very good add-on to this case. On top of that, guys, to be honest, all these facts and all these lawsuits against Polycross or against Burda or against SEC and other authorities or hedge funds or just private people, I think they will have a lot of impact in our system in general. Because, guys, we have to see some kind of steps towards the fair and transparent markets. And through our case, through MMTLP case, we can definitely achieve this result. On top of that, guys, all of these lawsuits might solve our problem. And guys, to be honest, I don't know what will be the resolution. And I have just my own opinion on this case, but at the same time, guys, I know that at the end of the day we will know much more in regards to the to our problem and in regards to this system in general. That is why, guys, we don't have bad lawsuits, we don't have bad actions. Any action that is made by MMTLP community members might lead to very important results. That is why, guys, you shouldn't rely only on one particular path, despite your point of view, but we have to keep in mind all of the potential paths to the resolution. And guys, take a look right here. We know that about a year ago, Don Fis was extremely active person and he made a lot of meetings with the Congress members. Unfortunately, later on he made some, let's say, bad actions and he became 100% silent in all of the social medias. And we have, I found quite interesting comment that was made just a couple of days ago in response to one of the space calls that were hosted by Carpe Jectem. And I have to admit that for now, guys, each and every day, I think there is about 2 to 5 space calls that happens on a daily basis, and with the total time online of more than a couple of days, more than 48 hours. That is why, guys, it is literally impossible to listen to all of these cases and make your conclusion. But definitely some people might do quite interesting jobs, and I will show you in just a couple of minutes that these results might be very interesting. But take a look right here. On February 13th, Gina wrote, what happened to Don Fis? And guess who wrote this in response to her? He seems good. He stopped in a space yesterday. Sounds like he's working hard within the halls of Congress. Quiet and stealth-like. And I have to admit that yes, potentially, I think we have several community members and several groups of community members who are working hard without any notifications of the broad audience of MMTLP community. Because we can see that there is a lot of, let's say, misunderstandings inside the MMTLP community. And guys, our ultimate goal is to have the resolution, is to receive payments for all the damages that were made by the wrongdoers to all of the NBH and Metamaterials shareholders. That is why, guys, despite the path that you choose, we have to respect all of other members of the same community. But for some reason, some people want to attack other people that are also MMTLP community members. And that is why, guys, we have people like allegedly Don Fis, who is quite, let's say, who is working in so-called stealth-like mode. On top of that, guys, let me remind you that Daniel is also in a stealth-like mode. He just recently made an update and I covered it in my yesterday's video. he made this update to his petition, and if you want to know more about it, watch my yesterday's video. And his petition, the main petition, is still online, is still available. You can sign it right here, and as you can see, almost 500 people from MMTLP community, and I think outside the MMTLP community, already signed this petition, and I think it is another quite good result. On top of that, guys, let me show you the next update. I covered a couple of videos ago an investigation and the thoughts of George Palikros in regards to the OTC market, and he published the part 3 of his thoughts, and I have to admit that in previous parts he explained the problems of OTC markets and how small cap companies might lose their value, might lose the money of their investors, and might be shorted to oblivion. But in part 3 he explained how the market might be fixed, and he published several bullet points. First of all, in regards to the market itself, and let me quote you some details. As an observer, as I see a conundrum with capital rises in the OTC markets. 1. Regulatory complexity. Rising legitimate capital as an OTC issuer often involves a maze of regulatory hurdles, especially for pink sheet companies with fewer reporting requirement sources. Filing a registered offering form S1 is expensive and time-consuming. Meanwhile, major banks or institutional investors typically overlook OTC issuers due to perceived risk and limited liquidity, creating a capital vacuum. 2. Limited access to traditional funding. And this is the problem why companies, small cap companies, are aiming to collect some money through dilutional funding. Next one, urgency meets predators. Small cap CEOs can find themselves in a cash crunch with no easy alternatives. And that is why, guys, a lot of companies are falling into the black hole of endless dilution. So, and here is the practical solutions. Here's top 5 suggestions from George Palikros. 1. Please explore Regulation A+. Regulation A+, especially Tier 2, allows companies to raise up to $75 million from both accredited and non-accredited investors, subject to SEC qualification. 2. Look at non-convertible debt or mezzanine financing options, and definitely this might be quite interesting path how companies might collect some money. 3. Strategic partnerships and licensing. And again, it is a very interesting step, because with the licensing of this type of so-called partners, we can assure, and the companies might be assured, that there is no hidden obstacles on the path of this financing. Next one, direct registration, form S1. Next one, equity crowdfunding under Reg CF. And if company needs quite tiny amount of money, they can use this option. And he also added why these 5 alternatives matter. And I don't want to dig deeper inside the rest of his tweet. I just want to show you a couple of mentions, couple of opinions of other community members. John Birda, in response to George Palikros' tweet, wrote this: "The entire small cap market is broken." Great post, George. Without true investors, it will remain broken. Between market makers and funds who don't invest but only extract money out of the market through structured finance programs, there is no chance to succeed. 1 in 100 will grow past the bad financings. The rest will fail and resort to reverse splits to maintain the dream. This is why the private equity market is 10x the size of the public market. The success or failure is based on what the company can achieve with the financing they receive, not what some hedge funds or market makers want to do to the trading stock based on structured financing. Until this changes, nothing will change. And guys, I have to admit that it is difficult to argue with his statement. A lot of shady problems happen on the OTC market, and you might wonder how it might be connected to our case? I will show you in just a couple of minutes, but first of all, let me show you another tweet in regards to the George Palaker's Part 3 investigation, and at this time it was written by Kristen Shaughnessy. She wrote, "Small and micro-cap CEOs need to get loud about the toxic funding and blatant market manipulation." This post by George Palaker is one too many public company CEOs can relate to, especially this paragraph. George Palaker also offers way to clean up the mess and fraud. Urgency meet predators. Small cap CEOs can find themselves in a cash crunch with no easy alternatives. Enter the toxic lender who offers quick funding through convertible notes at a steep discount. The devastating cycle ensues. More conversions, more price drops, more conversions equals to endless dilution. And yes, guys, unfortunately, there is a huge problem. But how it can be related to our case? And let me show you quite interesting disclosure. Roman Supes wrote a set of tweets in regards to MULN stock, and I covered this stock multiple times on my channel, and I told you not to invest in it because it is just a, let's say, a shady company with no real value and with a very sleeky CEO, and that cannot have any upside potential in foreseeable future. But guys, take a look right here. Junk Savvy and Busy Brands promoted this stock. Let me quote you just a couple of tweets from Roman Supes. MULN, direct campaign to Mullen, who hired Chair Intel on April 24, 2023. A week later, Junk and Busy promoting it. And he added some screenshots that was written back in May of 2023 by Junk Savvy and Busy Brands, guys. And here is the evidence that these two people promoting this to be honest, quite shitty stock. And guys, I think they have to explain something. Why did they do it? And if they promote this stock, it arises some more questions in regards to their actions related to our case. So, quite interesting update, don't you think so? On top of that, take a look right here. Roman Supes also wrote these couple of tweets basically less than 24 hours ago. MMTLP, encourage all to listen to Junk Savvy at 3:10 to the end. Some interesting things here, and he refers to the space call that was hosted by Junk Savvy. A. Busy says he is in a Telegram group with Greg McCabe and talked to Greg McCabe to verify a letter to real Greg McCabe within minutes of it being posted. B. Junk defies obvious and says next bridge believed in the oil but pitched a gas and geothermal deal to UL because she believes in it. C. Other nonsense entertainment. So, again, quite interesting statement, but let me quote you further. Junk also says a couple of people confirmed, confirmed it for me. Thank you to the couple of people that confirmed it for me. Busy Brands wrote, but he said, yeah, I just checked the Telegram group, I confirmed it with Greg. It did come from him. Funny how quickly they get in touch with Greg directly when it's drama. But then pretend they can't talk to him when it's something important, like what's going on with the drilling assets and short that want shares. And guys, it is very legitimate questions because if someone like Scott Trott asks Greg McCabe who was that company who asked for shares for the to cover their short positions, at the same moment, he became a so-called persona non grata. But if there is a drama inside or around surrounding the MMTLP case, in this case, Busy Brands and Junk Savvy are here to help the community members, and they have a direct connection to Greg McCabe. But for some reasons, they didn't ask these tricky questions. And this is another quite shady part of MMTLP community. And that is why, guys, please open your eyes and look at this situation out of the box. And guys, let me tell you my personal story. I have a wife and 2 children aged 11 and 15, as well as a small dog. After 30 years of living in Russia near the Baikal Lake, we decided to move. Now we reside in Serbia. Although I don't own any MMTLP shares, I invest a lot of time creating daily MMTLP videos. I have been doing this every day without days off and holidays for more than 1.5 years. Now I wish to buy back this time from my family, from my children. We've agreed that I will ask the MMTLP community to support me and I will give all the money to the children. Therefore, if you believe that I am providing useful content for you and wish to support me, you can join my Patreon account. For $5 a month, I will add your name to my list of supporters if you wish. Thank you in advance. The link you can find in the description below. So, I think that's all information that I want to provide you. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And see you guys and girls next time. Bye!
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gone live it up on the attack.